Omaratu Nadine Ijatsi, which means hello, my friends. My name is Nadine, and that's in the Wendat language, my ancestral language. I'm going to start off this afternoon with a land acknowledgement. We pay respect to the Algonquin people, who are the traditional guardians of this land. We acknowledge their long-standing relationship with this territory, which remains unceded. We pay respect to all Indigenous people in this region from all nations across Canada who call Ottawa home. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old. We honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future.
So thank you so much, Nadine, for joining us. What is the name of the drumming circle?
So our drum circle was named by one of our members. It's called the Naawakwe Singers, and it means midday in Ojibwe. And because we always, when we started out, we would gather at noon with the different with people from different departments. We felt that it was fitting, and it's always just stuck. Even now that we're in COVID and we practice at night, we're still the Naawakwe Singers. Guando day, Hey Guando day, oh hey Guando day. Hey Guando day, oh hey Guando day. Hey Guando day, oh hey Guando day.
Thank you so much, Nadine, for this beautiful introduction. Can you tell me a little bit about these songs that we just drummed?
Certainly. The first song that we opened with was the Creator song. And in that song, we're giving thanks to everything that surrounds us, everything that we've been blessed with, and just expressing our gratitude. And the second song is Guando Day, which is a song that we sing to our ancestors and we invite them into our space with open arms and open hearts. And these two songs are sort of a staple. It's what we always start with. So being grateful, giving thanks, and then welcoming our ancestors to join us.
Mm, that's great. That's so inspiring. When did you created this group, the drum circle group?
So I got my first drum back in, I think, 2018 or 2017. And I had it for about 2 years before I actually played it because I didn't know how to play it. And so it just sat there. And which is kind of a shame, but I was looking for an opportunity to buy one and I had one. And so, anyways, yeah, so it sat there and I was
Well,
organizing.
that's relatable. That's relatable. I think a lot of us did the same thing.
Right? It's, thinks you think it's a great idea at the time and then, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't
Mm,
know how to play it. I didn't know any songs. I just knew that I wanted one so
right.
bad. And so I was organizing an event for the department I worked for at the time, and they had wanted an Indigenous drumming group to open up the GCWCC, which is a Government of Canada charitable workplace campaign. And there was this woman from Elmer who ran the Elmer drum group. And so I had invited them to come and they opened the event and they sang like 4 or 5 songs and it was just such a beautiful moment. And and I said to her, do you accept new members? Because I have a drum, I haven't even played it, la la la. And so she said, why don't you come out like next week? We have a drum circle every Monday. You're welcome to come. And so I show up, and right away, I started. I started reading her lips and drumming and singing right away, which normally, like, I wouldn't have done because I'm very shy at the core. Um, so I started right away, like picking it up, and it felt like that was the missing link for me. And I had, it like that I had connected with something deeper. And so after a few months, I continued going every week and just picking it up. And at that time, we didn't have the music either. And so I'd run to the truck and I'd like record quickly what I could remember. And so slowly I started building up a repertoire. And so this is a long way around the question you just asked me, but I'll get there. So back at work, I was chairperson of the Indigenous Peoples Circle, and we were trying to bring more culture into the department. And so we ended up buying like 20, 30 drums and sending them across Canada. So each region ended up with a few drums and rattles and smudge kit, the whole 9 yards. And we needed somebody to lead the group. And so I said, well, I can do it.
Wow.
I said I could do it. I was also in the choir, so I was used to singing. Um, at this point, I had gotten used to singing in front of people, so I thought, yeah, I can do this. And so grabbed a few friends, and we started out. We were 6 people, and then people started talking to other people, and before I knew it, within like 5 months or less, I had about 4 or 5 departments coming in at lunchtime, and our circle grew. And so we had about 15 people all of a sudden. And so the repertoire was limited because, I only knew a few songs. So I was gradually learning and building, and then I'd share them, and then we'd work on them together. And so, and we started being called upon to like open events, and not only like within the government, but also within the community. Like we did the kite festival one year at Andrew Hayden Park, and we opened the event and we played for a half hour. And so we started out really, really small and then just grew. And then COVID hit.
Mm.
And that kind of
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
changed everything, like everything else, right? It impacted the drum circle, and at first, like, we didn't know how long we were going to be away, but then people started to call me and say, like, Nadine, I'm really missing the drum circle. Like, can we start it up again? What can we do? And so we tried a bunch of different platforms as well, and which didn't work because of the feedback. But so when we do have drum circle, which is now on a weekly basis, the participants have to go on mute, so there's no feedback, and we don't have delay issues, and which is great for new people starting out, or those people who are shy and don't want to sing, or they're just learning and they're afraid of making mistakes. So this gives them that flexibility and that comfort.
That's me. That's me right there. Right. And this is one of the reason I muted myself when we started to play. I joined in the pandemic. At I think it was almost like 6 months, not quite a year in the pandemic, but I joined on the virtual platform, and yeah, but I feel that, it's easier um to hear the drum, not but to feel the drum, to hear and to feel the drum. Because yeah, like you said, like different platforms, different issues. But yeah, so what, from that, like from that experience, are you planning like to, wow, that was really ugly question. Are you planning like to blah blah blah? See, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. We are allowed. Oh, I'm gonna take a. Okay, here we go. So you mentioned that now, with the pandemic, it's virtual meetings. Is there in the future, is there a chance that to have other gatherings in person?
Well, what we have been doing is, and we've been lucky because during the summer periods during COVID, we've been able to, gather, but maintain our distance. And some people wear masks, and that's okay, but we do it outside. And so we've been doing a couple of venues during the warmer season. Now, with COVID, right, it changed the way we work, and so I'm probably not going to be going back into the office and continuing to work from home. So the weekly like lunchtime drum circle won't be taking place, but I'll continue to do it virtually. But my plan is, as restrictions as they get lifted and people are starting to feel more comfortable, then we're going to have regular in-person drum circles, and we do it throughout the
Right.
city so that people don't have to always drive so far. Like, I'm an hour outside of Ottawa, so I try to have it like sort of central for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But and where there's free parking and that kind of thing. And there's nothing like a live drum circle, though. Honestly, like, to be there and have, when you're singing, and have the group sing back to you, and just everybody in unison, just
It's powerful.
that collective energy, right, is
Mhm.
just so moving and grounding, right?
How did the people react during the summer? How like the outsiders were reacting to see people gathered in a circle and playing drums? Were what were their reaction like?
We usually have people that, like, if they're walking down the path, they'll stop and they'll sit and watch, or quite often, like, if they are standing and watching, we'll invite them to come in to our circle, because we always carry extra drums and extra rattles, especially if there's children there. And we've had a few people take us up on the offer, but people, um, they quite enjoy it, and usually they come up and they thank us for it. So we've been, um, especially, like, we did a special circle on September 30th, in honor of um, the children and
Yes.
residential school survivors,
Yes.
and we did it at Hogsback Park, and right
Yes.
by the falls, and it was powerful. Like, it was probably one of the, like, most powerful circles we've had the honor of doing. And we had, like, a beautiful altar, and we start off with, like, prayer and smudge, and it was just we had such a big group, a big turnout. It was just such a powerful experience, and I just can't wait to for spring. I was hoping for a mild day this winter so that we could do it, but it hasn't happened yet. We'll get there.
Fingers crossed, though. What do you when you invite people to the drum circle, do you explain like the significance of the drum? Do you go over what a drumming circle is, or it's just join and enjoy the energy?
But it depends on the venue and what type of um, what type of interaction we're having. So sometimes we've been asked to do teachings, and so we'll talk about the drum and its sacredness, and how important it is and in our tradition.
And for people that are listening that doesn't have quite that knowledge, how would you explain like the significance of a drum to them?
Well, so there's so much to say.
I know.
Um, So one of the things that I usually mention about the sacredness of the drum is that drumming and singing were outlawed until the 1960s and against the law, and that people could have been arrested or put in jail for doing such a thing. And and a lot of people don't realize that. And so that's something that we introduce. I also introduce about the how a drum is made and the different pieces of the drum and what it signifies. So you have the frame, which is made from trees, and then you have the hide of the animal, which is the face of the drum. We have the sinew, which is the lace of the world, which is usually made from traditionally from the ligaments of a wolf, but in most cases, it's a hide that's cut into laces. Um, we treat the drum with the utmost respect, and so you don't just go up to somebody's drum and start touching it or holding it. You always ask permission.
It
Um,
has a spirit.
it does. It has a spirit, and um, each drum has a name. It has its own personality, and um and you never put a drum on its face. You would, like, this is like the grandmother spirit, and so you would never take your grandmother and put her on her face. You always you would respect that, and so you treat your drum with the utmost respect. And that being said, um drinking alcoholic beverages or doing any type of drugs is not permitted before playing the drum or a rattle. And so that's something that we are very serious about as well.
And
Um,
that reason being, your spirit, your state needs to be clear, right?
and there's some beliefs too that a woman during her moon time shouldn't touch the shouldn't drum because she's so powerful at that time. And I don't know enough about that specifically to share that with you.
Mhm.
There are some beliefs that you do not touch those sacred objects during that time.
Okay.
So,
Well, that I'm interested about that. I'm definitely gonna research that.
and that being said, I think is a really good segue to talk about. Um, so, there's um, so many different um, communities across Canada, so many different beliefs and tradition and culture. It just varies so much. So you could sing Guando Day here in Ottawa and how we were taught and it was passed down to us or given to us. And then that you take that song into New Brunswick and it has a different meaning. They sing it for different reasons.
Absolutely. Mhm.
And even like some of the lyrics may change a little bit, might have a little bit of a different maybe beat or rhythm to it, but
Mhm.
um, one of the reasons why the songs um, are not necessarily words but vocables, which are melodies that carry sound, is that when different tribes would come together, even if they spoke different languages, they could still sing the songs and be able to communicate that way and celebrate right that way. But it sometimes very touchy, like when you have to when you do go into other regions and you're singing and you're drumming, you just have to be really respectful and understand who the audience is and just be aware of that because it could backfire and some people could be insulted.
Mhm. Absolutely. There's definitely a cultural sensitivity that needs to be addressed and taken counter because it's not, I don't want to say protocols, but it's just we have to be respectful as I'm First Nation. I'm a Mi'kmaq woman. It doesn't mean that I know everything. Far from that. And I don't know about a lot of nations. And there I am, wanted to share and exchange. And I think this is like the beauty of it, but in a respectful way. And it is possible. It is possible. But yeah, we absolutely have to think that in consideration while engaging with each other.
Mhm.
Hmm. So what would you say would be like the positive impact of the drumming circle experience for you in your life?
Wow. Um, it has changed my life completely. Like I said earlier, that for me, it was like a missing link, something that I had been searching for my whole life, but hadn't quite put my finger on it, quite hadn't discovered it yet. And I came in contact with the drumming group, the Elmer drumming group, at the same time as I was really getting confirmation of where my roots were. And so
So a little bit like me, you grew up without your culture and then you reconnected. Is that
absolutely.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much the first person in many generations of my family to really embrace our culture and try and find out where we came from. And um, so finding the drum, and the drum is represents like the heartbeat, right? And the first sound we hear in utero is our mother's heartbeat, and that's what the drum represents. And so it's like a longing, um, it's a medicine, it's grounding, it's healing, it's praying, it's so many things. And it's brought me to meet so many people from different walks of life and hear and share and listen. um, and it's been such a learning experience. Like every time I drum, I learn something new about myself, about the people I'm with. And it's just been something that we've embraced as a family. Like my daughter is drum keeper of the department that she works at, and she's now stepped up into my old role of being co-chair of the Indigenous Peoples Circle. And one of my best friends is her partner, and who is an Indigenous and comes to every drum circle that I have every single week. She's there, and and then my son and my husband, when we do it live and we're in person, they're both there. It's a big family event kind of thing that we celebrate and support one another with. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful and inspiring. I love the fact that, there was like at one point a fracture, in culture, but then you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to take that back and I'm going to learn it, live it, feel it, and give that gift to my kids."
Mm.
That's beautiful, and I think this is this is life changing, and I feel that we should this is our responsibility, right? To make sure that this knowledge keeps on going.
I think it's very important that we share it. And one of the things that I did differently in our drum circle was that I made sure that, uh, oh,
Oh, we have a friend. Well,
Timber,
hello.
come on in. He loves the drum. And so it's very important. It was very important for me that our members got to see the words. So I write them out. Um, I'll write them out phonetically if they're words, if they're vocables. I'll leave them as is. But I felt it was very important that our participants had the words so that they could participate and feel confident in their participation, and not have to sort of guess or I always want people to leave feeling empowered and um, and I want people to have fun too. It's not supposed to be stressful, right? And they shouldn't have to worry about not knowing words
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
everybody comes for a different reason, right?
Hmm.
So I just want to make sure that they have the tools. And so also do recordings so that people can practice if they want to, or
Hmm.
if they want to learn on their own at their own pace. That's an option for them as well.
Well, I know firsthand that it's a very safe place. I felt when I was invited uh to participate in the drum circle, I was a little bit honestly, I was a little bit hesitated, and I felt a little bit like this like an imposter almost. And I was like, well, I live in the city. I don't, why would I drum? I didn't grow up. And then it got like all the negative narrative that I was told all my life came rushing back. When you find when you don't want to do something, you can find, every excuses, right? And of course I was scared, and I was like, okay, no, hold on. This is not, no, this is not me. This is not how it's going to go down. I will participate in that. I will make my jump, and I will learn. I think that as an adult, there's a part of us that are scared to learn something and to allow ourselves to be like vulnerable for this moment in our life, because we want to be like in control, which doesn't exist. But I think that, yeah, so that was when I first, met you and participate in the drum circle. But the first time I start, drumming, I started just crying. It was so emotional, and I'm yep, yep. And I didn't even understand why. but at the end of the session, I felt oh, I felt different. It felt like something connected inside of me. It was like, oh, that makes sense. That's it right there. This is exactly like what you said previously. That's the piece that was missing. It's one of the piece that was missing. And it's just so empowering, and the energy that comes from that circle when you're there for people that needs, and all the songs, and it's it's a healing process. It truly is a healing process. So for me, like, I bring water to the circle, so I cry a lot. But it's a sign of healing, right? So it's something that I appreciate so much, and I am so grateful to have met you, and because it that was a missing link. It was like a missing part of my life. And excuse me. And I just want to say thank you so much for all your resilience, and to say, hey, I don't know that, but I will go on and on and on, and to eventually, like, created this safe space for people like me to be part of. I think it's beautiful, and I from the bottom of my heart, I really, really thank you for that.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to hear that it's made an impact for you. And that's the beauty of being on this journey of the drum, and including it in being a part of your life. It forces you to be in the moment. And so everything that is going on outside of that hour, right, doesn't matter, right? And
Exactly.
it really brings you to focusing on your breath, your singing, your drumming. And I mean, each song does have an intention and a purpose. And so when we go around the circle, we ask, well, what song holds importance for you tonight? And it could be, the Women's Honor Song, which we sing to empower women and those women who really need healing, which we sing in balance with um, the Strong Women's Song, Men's Honor
Strong
Song.
woman. Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sing those together so that there's a balance. But it's also, we hold intentions for those people who need it the most and who could use a little bit of lifting, right? And so, yeah, that's what I love about it. It's kind of like yoga, right? Like, everything doesn't matter. It's just you being in the moment, and you're focusing on holding your posture and your breath, and that's it in that moment. And drumming is very much like that. And it's intention, right? Prayers up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Nazim, thank you so much for taking the time to have this discussion with me. I appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure our viewers too. Thank you very much, Nadine, for joining me in this conversation. And to all of our viewers, I hope you enjoy, and see you next time. Abnumaltes.